Hey everyone, what's up? This is Lloyd here from the newwavefitness.com, my website and YouTube channel, New Wave Fitness. So today's video, I wanted to talk about my journey from 130 pounds up to 165 pounds in about 2.5 years, how it worked and what programs I did, and how everything kind of just all of a sudden ballooned when for a long time, as you saw in my videos, maybe from 2011 up to like 2015, 2016, I was stuck in this weight category that would go up and down between 135 to 155, and I was just stuck there. And a lot of it comes down to the equipment I had at the time. It just couldn't push anymore, and the other part comes to consistency of exercise and also the program that I was doing and being consistent with that and consistent with eating enough calories. So I have MyFitnessPal here, and I'm pretty obsessive when it comes to MyFitnessPal. I think I'm on like a 900 plus day streak right now. It's almost like over 3 years or something, but I'm looking back here, and this was just a thought that came to me yesterday when I was thinking about, my exercise and everything, and I'm drinking my pre-workout right now. So I'm going to be doing my exercise here pretty soon. Today's overhead press day. But when I was thinking back on how long it took me to get to the weight I'm at now, which today I weighed in, I was 163.2. So my weight fluctuates within a week between 163 usually up to 165 and a half. And so, it fluctuates weekly, but we're definitely above 160, above 162 right now. And I'm pretty happy at 165. And I have good vascularity, I think. My abs are pretty visible, and I'm just trying to get stronger and stronger and maybe slowly bulk, but it's at this point I'm pretty satisfied with the weight I'm at. So it took a long time to get here, and a lot longer than it really should have taken, but the reasons behind that I'll get into in a second. So as you can see here on the screen, I highlighted the 4th, or April 1st, 2017, and this was 135.4, and I'm looking back on my workouts I did during that time. So the main highlights was from April 2017, I was 135 pounds up to December 2017. I was working out like 1 to 2 times a week max. So I didn't really get serious back into exercising because I was preoccupied doing other stuff, not being consistent enough in the gym, and I was just working out to stay fit enough, but not super in shape or build up enough muscle with enough volume and things like that. So, I have this app I use that tracks my workouts, and I'm looking back on it and I'm realizing that between April and December, working out 1 to 2 times a week is just barely maintaining what I already had built at the time from doing home workouts like P90X and things like that. In January 2018, I got a bit more serious, started working out 3 times a week. And if we look at how the weight started to fluctuate and go up a bit from April, and then we go to the 3rd page here, by the time it's almost January of when I started getting more serious, I was already about 140.8 pounds, almost 141. And then in May of 2018, I got even more serious. So from January to May 2018, I was working out maybe 3 times a week. And then May, I started working out 4 to 5 times a week, lifting weights. And I still hadn't got my power rack yet. I was still just using my I think I had up to 210 pounds, and I was just kind of had a block because I was worried about not being able to safely drop the weight without a safety pins in the power rack. So a lot of the times I didn't push too hard. But in May of 2018, I was 146, and the workout programs I was doing during that time before I got more serious was Ivysaurs I did for like a month, the Gray Skull LP program I did for a bit, Basic 531 beginner version I did for a bit, Mad Cows 5x5 I did for a bit, And then in May 2018, I started getting more serious, and I jumped into this program called InSun's 531, which I'm still doing now, doing the 5-day version. I think I started the 4-day version. I started that May 2018, and my weight was already 146.6. And then in about June or July 2018, I don't remember exactly, is when I got my power rack. It was either June or July is when I got my power rack, and I got a lot more dumbbells. I got the adjustable dumbbells, 5 to 52 pounds, so I could do more weight there with isolation work. And so you can see here, during that month, my weight shot up really like a good 5-6 pounds from May up to June 29th. I'm pretty sure I had my power rack by then, and I was already 155, and that was just within probably maybe 2 months of doing the InSun's program, which is a 531. It's a lot of volume. The workouts take like an hour and a half, but it's set up in such a way where it's, you know, a progressive rep scheme and a progressive percentage weight increase. So you may do 9 sets of bench press, but the first set will be like 65% and 7 reps, and then the next set will be, you know, 6 reps but a higher percentage, and then 5 reps but a higher percentage, and then 3 reps but a higher percentage, and then 1 rep at 90%, and then it tears back down and it gets, you know, lighter and lighter, more reps. So in the beginning it's really hard to get used to that volume, but after about 2-3 weeks my body got used to it, and I stayed with that program for about 7 months, doing the 4-day, the 5-day, or the 6-day version, just kind of switching around depending on how I felt, and that was really good. I stuck with that until November of 2018, and my weight was about 163, and then I switched over to the push-pull leg routine November 2018, and I stayed with that for about 6 weeks. The only reason I did the push-pull leg routine was because the InSun's program was getting really heavy. Workouts were taking really long, and I was starting to get burned out after 7 months of it. My strength was like the highest it had been at the time, and I wanted to do something a bit more aesthetic and a bit more like not as heavy all the time. So I did the push-pull leg routine for about 6 weeks, but I quickly went back to InSun's because my strength started to drop really quickly on the push-pull leg routine, and it was just because the lack of volume and the lack of the strength training. Push-pull leg routines is great for getting super aesthetic, but for me it wasn't giving me enough ability to gain strength, so I went back to the 531 InSun's version, and I did that from December 2018 to March 2019, so about 3.5 months, and you know, I was still at about 166.5 at that point, so I gained, you know, a couple more pounds, and this is all consistently having to eat in a calorie surplus, you know, so it was challenging, you know, doing that as well. And then March 2019, I did a different program called GZCLP, very popular program on Reddit as well as the InSun's program. And that one was 4 times a week instead of, I think I was doing the 6 times a week, the InSun's version at the time. So I did that for 5.5 months from March to September. And so March, 166.5. And as you can see, we finally hit 170 in May. And then we stayed at 170, got up to 172 in July. And now at this point in July, you know, I started looking at myself, and I had the best strength gains that I've had before on that program. The InSun's built the base, and the GZCLP had an even better rep scheme of where you do like 10 reps, and then 8 reps, and then like 6 reps, and then like 4 reps, and 1 rep. It gets to the point where you can't do any more reps at such a heavy weight, so it's just like, okay, can you do at least 1 rep? Okay, you did 1 rep, okay, continue, progress, add weight. Can you do it next week? Okay, you didn't do it the next week, okay, you failed it, okay, now it's time to deload. But it starts at a higher rep, and you keep adding weight every time you do it. And even though you fail the reps, you change the reps but increase the weight, and it allows you to keep progressing, which is a lot nicer than something where it's like, okay, you failed 3 times, okay, now deload. This one is like, okay, you failed 3 times, but the reps change up to like 4 times, I think. And then if you fail like the 4th or 5th time on that new rep scheme, then you have to deload the weight. But I got a bit stronger on that program, and it was really good. I liked it. Ran it for 5.5 months until September 2019. And when I got up to that weight at 172.4, I started to feel a little fat. And so I have my pictures and my videos. You can look back on that. I do that comparison. And I wanted to change it up and get more abs, and also get my body weight down a bit, because I started to look a little chubby. I didn't really feel as good in the mirror anymore. My vascularity went away, and the veins weren't popping as much. Even though I could lift heavier weights than I've ever been able to, I just didn't look as aesthetic or, visually appealing to me personally. So I wanted to cut down body fat a bit, and so I switched over to a push-pull leg routine, and I switched over to I think a 10-week power building routine, and then I did push-pull leg. But I also reduced my calories a bit by about, I went from like 2,900, 3,000 plus to like 2,200, and I added jump rope like 2 times a week and changed the routine up a bit for the weightlifting, because I didn't have enough calories to really support doing heavy strength training at the time. And so then I dropped down from about 172. I dropped down to like 162 at the lightest, I think. And then by September, I went and did 3 weeks of the push-pull leg routine up to October. In October, my body weight was good, and my body fat was better than it was in July. Just in a 2-3 month period, I saw really big difference, just changing my calories up and adding a bit more cardio and doing a bit more reps of lighter weight, and my veins came back and my abs started to show again. Yes, I lost some strength, but that's okay. And so now I'm at the point where I've been doing the InSuns 5-day version since October to present, so it's been about 4 weeks plus so far. It feels pretty good. So I'm gonna keep doing this InSuns version again, maybe run it for another couple months until I stall out on it again, and then probably go back into the GZ CLP program, maybe run that again until I stall out on it. And honestly, I can just keep rotating back between those 2 programs, because they're working really great for me as far as my strength and making me feel good as far as how I look in the mirror. I mean, yeah, I would like to do the push-pull leg routine and maybe get more isolation work and more aesthetics on like the lower chest area and things like that. But honestly, I just do more accessories on the InSuns version, and that is working just fine enough. So I just want to share with you guys how I went from 130 pounds to 165 pounds in about 2.5 years. And I could have done it a bit quicker, probably, if I had gotten the power rack sooner. But the power rack and the ability to lift heavier weights week by week by increasing 5 pounds up to 10 pounds on deadlifts, or 5 pounds on upper body and 10 pounds on lower body, things like that week by week, and not having to worry like I'm gonna hurt myself if I fail the rep, which was a big concern. That was like probably the biggest thing that helped me kind of push past that 150 pounds that I was stuck at for a long time before I got the power rack. The other thing is my squats and my deadlifts are still kind of low. Like I think my heaviest deadlift is like 280, and I really want to push 300 soon. I'm slowly getting back up to 300, and my squat is just something that I struggle with getting really deep, because I guess I have flexibility issues in my hips or something, and it's just, I don't know, a previous injury I had when I was 19, and my my femurs had stress fractures in both femurs, and maybe that's what has that issue of like it's a struggle to get down deep. But I'm still trying to progress on that, and it's something I'm like actually aware of when I'm lifting, that I'm trying to like make sure I flex my glutes and make sure I keep my core solid and keep my chest up and have the right stance with the feet out a bit. And I'm just playing around with that to try to get the best way I can. The last squats I did were about 225, and I did like 2 reps, and even doing 225 for 2 reps was really a challenge. That's after doing like several other sets of squats as well, but it's just hard to get all that way down to where you're really close to the ground. So I get as far as I can. The goal is to make sure my butt is below my knees, as far as, well, where my hips would be essentially. So if I can get my butt below my hips and, you know, break just that parallel point, or get right at parallel and a little bit past it, then I'm okay. And when it's a little bit lighter weight, I can go much deeper, but something I'm working on. I haven't had to test a failed rep fully on squats, because when it gets super heavy, like, I know if I can't get down, like, if I can't get down, I just do like a quarter, or, you know, 3/4 of a rep, and then just go back up, because I know that's like not gonna happen. But I did test like a failed rep at 135 just to see how it felt, like going down and then trying to act like you can't get back up and then just dropping the weight. And there's maybe this much distance between me holding the bar at a failed rep and where the bar is, so the weight would go from here to here. So like if you know, 225 or 265, which was the heaviest I did, if 265 was on my back and I go down and I'm right here, then I just have to let my body go down a bit more, and then the weight just gets right on the bar. So that's the only mental block area thing. But other than that, everything's going pretty good. I got my Broly Dragon Ball Z Stringer shirt on, so we're gonna do shoulder press exercises today. So I just wanted to share this video with you guys. Thanks for watching, and now you know. So MyFitnessPal and a power rack and a strength program that gives you enough volume so you can actually enjoy it. Like strong lifts program and starting strength 3 days a week, it wasn't enough for me. I have to have like 5 days in the gym, or 5 days lifting weights, or at least 4 days lifting weights. After that, it just doesn't feel as good. So for me, the 5-day program that I'm doing on this is working great. Going back to it, see how long we can run it for, and that's it. So thanks for watching. See you next time.